Something about this whole story, it just doesn't add up. You know, for 80 years, the official line we've been fed about UFOs is always weather balloons or, I don't know, swamp gas. But it turns out, behind that curtain of national security, there's been a completely different story playing out. A much, much bigger one. So, let's pull back that curtain.
You know, for decades, a statement like this would have been relegated to some grainy late-night documentary, right? Something you'd easily dismiss as just another conspiracy theory. But here's the thing. This isn't some fringe idea anymore. We are now hearing this exact sentiment from top-tier Navy pilots, from directors of intelligence, even from sitting members of Congress. The whole conversation has shifted, and it's because the evidence, well, it's just become impossible to deny.
So that begs the question, right? How on earth does a secret this huge stay hidden for almost 100 years? Well, insiders, people who claim to have been on the inside, they point to something called a legacy program. Just try to picture this for a second. A clandestine group, totally off the books, operating outside the normal chain of command. They have their own secret budget, and they answer to absolutely no one. Basically, a shadow government whose entire job is to manage what could be the biggest secret in all of human history.
Okay, and this is where the story gets truly wild. You'd think, logically, that the President of the United States would have the highest security clearance possible, right? That they'd get the full briefing on this stuff on day one in the Oval Office. But no. According to whistleblowers, when it comes to this specific topic, even the Commander-in-Chief is kept on a strict need-to-know basis. And you guessed it, a lot of the time, the people in charge decide the President doesn't need to know.
And that's where this quote from Senator Marco Rubio just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly explains the mindset of this supposed shadow government. Think about it from their perspective. A president is just a temp. They're in for 4, maybe 8 years, and then they're gone. But the program, the secret they're protecting, that's permanent. So they can just wait him out. Keep the truth locked down until the next administration rolls in and the cycle starts all over again.
You know, the first real major crack in this wall of secrecy, it actually happened way back in 1989. A physicist, a guy named Bob Lazar, he went on TV with this absolutely incredible story. He claimed he'd worked at a secret base, part of a team that was trying to reverse engineer recovered alien tech, actual flying saucers. Now, for 30 years, the official response was simple: discredit him, ridicule him. But here's the crazy part. Fast forward to right now, and you have these high-level, credible whistleblowers coming forward, and they're describing the exact same kinds of secret reverse engineering programs that Lazar was talking about all those years ago.
So after decades and decades of just whispers and official denials, the dam finally broke. I mean, it shattered. Starting in 2017, we saw this series of absolute bombshell events. And this wasn't just a small leak. No, this blew the floodgates wide open. Suddenly, this whole topic wasn't on the fringe anymore. It was on the front page of the New York Times. And that forced the entire world to finally pay attention.
And right at the heart of this tipping point was a secret Pentagon program called AATIP. Now, we're not talking about some backroom hobby club here. This was an official, funded, U.S. government program with one job: figure out what these things are. And the guy who was running it, well, he was about to blow the whole thing wide open.
Okay, so here's the timeline. Here's how it all went down. It starts back in 2004. Elite Navy pilots from the USS Nimitz have that now famous encounter with an object they nicknamed the Tic Tac. Of course, the data, the footage, it gets buried for years. Then you jump to 2017. The guy running that secret Pentagon UFO program, Lou Elizondo, he resigns in protest. And he doesn't go quietly. He leaks 3 official declassified Navy videos of these encounters. Just days later, bam, the New York Times drops a front-page expose, and just like that, the secret was out.
And what these pilots saw, I mean, it was completely physics-defying. We're talking about an object that dropped 80,000 feet in less than a second. Think about that. No wings, no visible engines, no heat coming off of it. It was performing maneuvers and accelerating at speeds that would literally tear any known aircraft to pieces, and of course instantly kill any human pilot inside. The data led to one single inescapable conclusion. Whatever this thing was, it wasn't ours.
All right, so the story is out. It's public. Now Congress has to act. They demand answers. So in 2021, the Pentagon is basically forced to release an official report on what they now call UAPs, Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. And what that report said was, frankly, just astonishing.
I mean, just look at that number, 143, out of 144 incidents they reviewed. And remember, many of these are from our most advanced military sensors. They could only identify one. And you know what it was? A deflating balloon. The other 143?
Well, for those, the United States government officially went on the record and said, "We have no idea what these are."
And if that wasn't enough, then came this quote. And I want to be clear, this isn't from some sci-fi novel. This is a line from an official government report to the U.S. Congress. They are admitting, in writing, that our current level of science might not be advanced enough to even understand what we're looking at. It's just a jaw-dropping admission that we could be dealing with a technology that is far, far beyond our own.
Which brings us right up to today. Right now, there's an intense battle being waged behind the scenes. On one side, you've got whistleblowers, people like Lou Elizondo and David Grush, who are risking absolutely everything to get the truth out. And on the other side, you've got the gatekeepers of that 80-year-old secret, and they are fighting tooth and nail to keep it buried.
And make no mistake, the stakes in this fight are literally life and death. Lou Elizondo has actually stated under oath that a secret group of insiders had serious discussions about taking extreme measures to silence him and others. Just let that sink in for a moment. This isn't just some bureaucratic turf war. We're talking about a situation where people's lives are actually on the line to keep this secret.
So, this all leads to a huge, huge dilemma. How do you convince people who have been part of a potentially illegal, multi-decade cover-up to actually come forward and talk? Well, one solution being pushed in Congress right now is amnesty. Basically, give them a chance to tell the truth without the threat of going to prison. But this creates a really powerful debate, doesn't it? What's more important, prioritizing justice for what happened in the past, or prioritizing getting the whole, unvarnished truth for the sake of the future?
And that leaves us with the biggest question of all. After 80 long years of secrets, the pieces of this puzzle are finally starting to come into view. And they're revealing a story that could literally redefine our understanding of everything, of technology, of our place in the universe, even the limits of government power. It really feels like the truth is coming. The only question is, what happens when it finally gets here? I'd love to know what you think, so drop a comment below. And make sure to follow the clip brief for more breakdowns just like this.